So let's recap. Dr. Fauci pushes for a new report on COVID, one that specifically squashes the lab leak theory. Then he cites that report while flanked by the then president and then vice president, jamming it down the throats of the American people. Joining me now is China whistleblower and virologist in Hong Kong, Dr. Li-Meng Yan. Also here is former Energy Department scientist and author of The Truth About Wuhan, Dr. Andrew Huff. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jane.
Dr. Huff, let me start with you, Dr. Huff. You know, it just wasn't just that one time. Anthony Fauci went out of his way to try and downplay the lab leak theory. He did it on multiple occasions. And earlier tonight, Republican Senator Rand Paul joined Newsmax, and he was asked why Fauci might have done this. Watch.
He felt guilty about funding the research in China that became COVID-19. And so I think his guilt and his fear of retribution or his fear of culpability led him to perhaps the most massive cover-up in modern medical history.
Do you agree with Senator Paul there and the revelations about Fauci from these emails? Your thoughts?
Oh, I agree with everything Senator Rand Paul has stated. It's been a long journey to get to this point. I've been actually delivering talking points to the U.S. House and U.S. Senate for the past 2 years. So I'm glad that everyone has bought on to the truth here, which is Dr. Anthony Fauci is guilty of one of the largest criminal conspiracies in U.S. history, if not human history.
Dr. Yan, you were one of the first people to claim that COVID was made by the Chinese government in a lab. Now you're tweeting that the Chinese government is after you and may, quote, eliminate you. Could you elaborate on that? And why are you speaking out again tonight?
Oh, thank you, Jane. So yes, from today, there are a large scale of those kind of spreading of the article written by the authors for CCP state-run media. So in that article, they quote my interview with Tucker Carlson on 27th February. In that interview, I emphasize that the Chinese Communist Party has, using the labs, created the COVID-19 virus and intentionally release it out of the lab. And so that's why China is hurried to deny it. And it shows that Chinese Communist Party and the Xi Jinping regime are so nervous because people wake up, people start to know the facts, and they know they are the criminals. So that's why they are calling for eliminating me, and also they are also focusing on everyone who try to reveal the truth of COVID-19.
Dr. Huff, let me ask you this, because another element from this new evidence, it's about Dr. Jeremy Farrar, who went uncredited in the report despite being consulted and requesting a key line be changed. This is the request. On the left side of your screen, you'll see the original draft that says it is unlikely that COVID came from a lab. That wasn't good enough, apparently, for Dr. Farrar. On the right, you see that he asked for that line to be changed to, quote, improbable. Would you say that top American doctors were feeding us propaganda?
Oh, absolutely. And I know a little bit of the backstory here with Jeremy Farrar. So I don't know if it was part of my introduction, but I also used to be a vice president at EcoHealth Alliance. So that's the organization that funded the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So EcoHealth Alliance actually had a data sharing agreement with the Wellcome Trust where Jeremy Farrar was the president. So if you start to look here at the myriad of conflicts of interest between Dr. Anthony Fauci, Jeremy Farrar, my former boss, Dr. Peter Daszak, it's very clear that all of them were interested in covering this up as fast as possible.
Dr. Yan, I want to get your thoughts about that requested edit.
Actually, I'm one of the first speak out loudly to tell people Dr. Fauci didn't tell the truth to Americans. It's back to almost 3 years ago. And Dr. Fauci is a very important role in the whole pandemic because he is used by Chinese Communist Party as an elite. And also after that, they could abandon him, like it's called the useful idiot style. However, now Dr. Fauci's email has revealed that he has involved into that kind of cover-up, misinformation, and also misleading the policies in U.S. and even the world. So definitely I would support the Congress and also American people to hold the thorough investigation, and Dr. Fauci's behavior and who's behind him. Where did he get this kind of request to promote the nature origin theory and also pro-CCP, pre-CCP need to be dig out. And also we have to do much more to understand the real origin of COVID-19 to prevent future pandemic.
Well, still so many questions, but Dr. Li-Meng Yan and Dr. Andrew Huff, so glad to have you both here joining us tonight. Thank you both.
Thank you.